yeah, it's a failing empire, we can say, the whole European Union. It's like a totalitarian, something. I always say it's not like, I mean, if you hear Ursula von der Leyen speak, then I think, oh my God, what is she saying? I mean, it's like they give money to terrorists, they give money to Ukrainian terrorists. I mean, how can that be? And it's actually money from the European taxpayers. This is, I think it is. Maybe they print money as well. But how can they spend all this money? Well, I mean, I know some Dutch stars, they said something during COVID time about maybe we should investigate more about what is going on and so on. Well, he was cancelled straight away. You are cancelled. You cannot not be allowed on TV anymore. It's finished. This, these things are going on. It's maybe small things, but it comes, all these small things, it's a big thing. And I think it's totalitarianism, especially in the Netherlands. It's even worse than one could imagine. You cannot vote for them. This is the whole thing. We cannot say, okay, we can vote for somehow a bloc, but not a real person or a party. You cannot vote. So, I mean, that's not democracy. Democracy is the will of the people, and we cannot do it. So we need revolution. It sounds maybe funny or maybe radical. I'm not a radical usually, but we can see we're struggling. These countries are struggling so long already, and it's getting worse and worse.
Zvezda Holding presents Dynamic Spectrum Talks now.
Greetings, everyone. This is the Dynamic Spectrum Talks podcast, the place where we talk to interesting people from all over the world with the aim to find commonalities between peoples and nations, to understand each other better and to remove artificially created dividing lines. Our mission is to provide positive impulse because in most aspects we are the same and our future depends on how we can communicate and work together. I am Anna Shafran and this is my colleague, Yuri Lindra.
Hello, everyone.
And today, for the second time in our studio, independent journalist and blogger, Sonia van den Ende. Sonia, we are very, very, very glad to see you. Hello.
Hello. Nice to be here again. Thank you.
Yeah, we enjoyed our last talk that we had last year. And of course, we suggest to continue discussion that we have, especially keeping in mind that a lot of interesting stuff has happened during this month. First of all, let's focus a little bit on geopolitics. You are a representative of European civilization, European Union. Of course, you currently live in Russia. You're almost Russian. But still, we want to ask you how Europeans, from the European perspective, is seeing the current geopolitical situation in the world after Donald Trump came to the White House for the second term. I mean, the statements that White House recently made towards European Union, that there is a growing distance between former allies, and from the perspective of current US administration, the European Union, the current elites are not going to the right way. And the values previously common for the United States and Europe are now became not so common. And there is some sort of tensions between you guys. So what do you think about all this, and where the direction of the wind currently from we see, and where we go?
Well, first of all, I think that there's a big gap between the population and the politicians in Europe, because we can see in Germany already. I mean, actually, I think the majority has chosen AfD, Alternative für Deutschland. But of course, this was not satisfying for the German elite, for the politicians. So the CDU came back again, and Merz we have now, he's a real war chancellor, I think. This is what he wants, war. This is what he's saying all the time. But I think the majority of the Germans don't want war at all. They want prosperity. And I mean, they saw maybe an opportunity when Trump came in the US, because many thought, okay, he will dismantle all this globalization, all this fake news maybe, or maybe not. But this is how they thought in mainly Europe. Also the Netherlands, they think the same. But the population, I think they want to change. They want really a change in Europe that stop all the war with the war talk with Russia. And we can also see tensions in the Middle East. I think a lot of people, you can see demonstrations in every European city these days. Also, this weekend there was for peace with Russia again in Germany. So I think the population wants peace, normal life. But the elites, they are the ones who, in my opinion, got a little bit very crazy because they only speak about war. If you listen to them, it's war, war. We need a war economy. By 2030, Russia will invade. I don't know why specifically in 2030, but okay, that's what they say. And this is, it's crazy, they're behaving. It's not normal, I think. It's like a sect, I always say. They, a religion, they are saying, okay, war, war, and war. But I think that the economies are very bad in Europe. So maybe it's just they telling this to the people, or try to tell, because they want to hide how bad Europe really is, how the economy is. So I think that's the reason. And I think we will see a lot of unrest in Europe coming times.
We see that Ukraine case is some sort of cornerstone because the United States wants to start peace settlement as soon as possible to close this chapter of the book. And we see absolutely opposite approach from the European elites. They want to continue this conflict, despite they experience heavy losses, first of all, from economic point of view. What is the logics?
I think what I said, the economy is bad. So they want to change from, because we have to remember, a lot of people forgot, but during COVID, everybody, the elites were saying, we're having the great reset now. So we will never go back to normal. And as soon as COVID stopped, let's say stopped a little bit, then they straight away said, we are at war with Russia because Russia invaded Ukraine. So they want to get to a society where you have nothing, but you'll be very happy. This is what they say. And also, the green agenda. So they don't want gas anymore. They don't want industry anymore, which is like an utopia because cannot be done, of course. But this is what they want. And but you can see Germany, the economy is so bad. The deindustrialization is really going on, and Netherlands as well. A lot of Dutch and Germans are escaping, who have a little bit of money. They'll go to Dubai or they go to South Africa or for whatever they choose to go. So, I mean, the logic is that they need to keep on going this agenda, the politicians. So they need to say we need a war with Russia because, Russia is an invader and blah, 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 all the nonsense they say. So this is they have to hide that it's going really bad. And this is, I think, what is going on in Europe. And they're also isolated. They're now isolated from the US and they're isolated from the East. And this is... it's a failing empire, we can say, the whole European Union. It's like a totalitarian, something I always say. It's not like, I mean, if you hear Ursula von der Leyen speak, then I think, oh my God, what is she saying? I mean, it's like they give money to terrorists, they give money to Ukrainian terrorists. I mean, how can that be? And it's actually money from the European taxpayers. This is... I think it is. Maybe they print money as well. But how can they spend all this money? So it's just, it's unreal. It's like an unreal situation. And I think this unreal situation will be, should be finished. And I think it will be finished because now we have Trump and the East is rising and Russia is winning in Ukraine. So I think it's deteriorating completely.
Sonia, you are the second guest in our studio who is talking about the totalitarianism in Europe. Previously, we talked with John Varoli, American journalist. He told about the same. Is it true that you have this situation, and how many people, to your mind, think like you?
I think a lot of people, maybe, I don't know if it's the majority, but because still a lot of people sleep, go to work and so on and do nothing. But I think journalists or academic, normal people who are a little bit awake, I think it's true because during last year before, you could not, for instance, post anything on certain social media about Russia. Now it's going on. For instance, I sent some videos from Lebanon to some people in Germany. They could not open it because it's censored. So this is all censorship. But people also, if they say something, you can, like in Germany, I heard they take them from your house and okay, you can be judged somehow. Because if you say something wrong, you know, about maybe government or maybe about the war, what they say. So, you know, it's true. And I think a lot of journalists are it's a very terrible situation. You cannot write what you want. And that's bad. I think very bad, but normal people as well. You know, that's like with the woke we had it. If you say like, oh, there's black people there. Oh wow, you know, it's terrible. I mean, I know some Dutch stars. They said something during COVID time about maybe we should investigate more about what is going on and so on. Well, he was cancelled straight away. You are cancelled. You cannot not be allowed on TV anymore. It's finished. There was a famous Dutch singer. His name was Marco Borsato, and he was having an extramarital affair. Okay, not nice, but okay, that's his private business. But they cancelled him straight away from TV. They cancelled his songs, everything. I mean, these things are going on. It's maybe small things, but it comes. You know, all these small things, it's a big thing. And I think it's totalitarianism, especially in the Netherlands. It used to be too free in certain things, but you could say everything actually, because, you know, it's okay. But nowadays it's impossible to say anything you like. And that's a dangerous situation, I think. That's, you know, totalitarianism. It comes from the EU, actually. That's my opinion.
And in your opinion, when could a peaceful solution to the conflict be achieved? I mean, Ukraine.
Yeah.
And more importantly, if the United States stops supporting Ukraine, will Europe continue to do so? And the European Union, does the European Union have the necessary resources for that? What do you think?
Well, first of all, they don't have the resources because, you know, they are now having rearm Europe, but they want to continue. But I don't know. Yeah, they want to continue if it's really true what they say. This is, you know, it's always because politics in Europe, it's like a big lie machine, I always say. So, but they say to the public, we want to continue to support Ukraine because Russia is very bad. They want to invade us in 2030 and, you know, this whole story. So at the moment, they have this agenda. They want to continue. But we know now that the US and Russia are having talks and okay, maybe it will be a long process there will be a final peace solution. But I think, in my opinion, is that we see the little bit of the upheaval in Europe. So I think, and I hope that they will stop somehow. They will be stopped, these politicians, that they should think about having normal relations with Russia. And of course, it should take a long, long time before the relations will be good again, because too much happened in 3 years, I think, with Europe, you know, blaming Russophobia and so on. But I think that we should have peace. Europe should have peace. Now, normal. They should be actually having good relations with Russia and the US. But I think this is impossible as long as politicians sit there in Europe. These are the old politicians from maybe 10, 20 years ago. Of course, in the US as well. But I mean, but of course, we have a little bit of an aggressive politics coming from the US. You know, they want to take Greenland and I don't know. So it's all, you know, in the air also. But I think Europe will continue. For now, they will continue to say Russia will invade us. So we need to rearm. They put 800 billion euros for that, you know. I don't know how they're going to pay, but they want to rearm. And all the industries, I heard, they're going to now, expand. So like Germany has Rheinmetall, they will be a big, big factory. And the Netherlands is very good in drones, so they will, focus on the drones. France has some industry, I think, and Belgium is very famous for its guns and so on. So they are now saying, okay, we're going to arm Europe, arm to the teeth. That's what they say. And conscripting as well. People now, as from 17 years of age, in the Netherlands, they will, people get a letter. Also, girls. So boys and girls, they need to go and do conscription again. It's not final yet, but it will be. Gradually, we will see it coming. So I hope it will be stopped. But Europe, for the moment, it's gone totally mad. It's, they should think, we had Second World War. How can they want to fight Russia?
Short memory.
Yes. Now, they're rewriting history. Yeah? This is what they did in the European Union. That's what they said. There was an amendment somehow. And there was. And they said that not only Germany started World War II, but also Russia.
Of course. And Japanese people, they also start trying not to remind who dropped the bombs at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And soon I will not be surprised that, let's say, in 10 years or 20 years, it will be Russians who bombed it. Just a few remarks on what you have said about totalitarianism. You mentioned COVID a few times. The reason why I will read you the following, because it was in today's news that scientific portal, Science Direct, released scientific research about the outcomes of vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna, on health of the patients. And it's very interesting because it's not about the speculations of journalists or whatever. It's a very reliable, deep and profound research which says that heart diseases, for example, the risk of heart diseases for those who got Moderna and Pfizer vaccines grew up for more than 600%. So 6 times risk. For example, heart diseases. If you got that vaccines, the problems with the immunity system, potential problems, increased by 378%, almost 4 times. And even more. The question, who is responsible? Who will compensate the health issues, the sudden deaths? The answer is simple. No one. No one is guilty. No one is blamed for. No responsibility, no nothing. For me, it's a clear sign that if the current system existing in Europe cannot say that, of course, we did something wrong, it's our responsibility, let's try to fix it. Let's start negotiations between people and the countries and find a solution. Please forgive us, we did something wrong, let's fix it. It will be honest discussion. And of course, there is a chance to get an agreement and to resume and rebuild mutual trust between the society and the elites. But the elites prefer to behave like nothing has happened. There was nothing. It was okay. We did everything right. If they continue to implement such policies, it means that same approach affects everything, not just COVID. It's about Ukrainian issues as well. It's about the migration policy. It's about social welfare policies within European Union. It's about everything because it's a common approach. We won't discuss anything with you. We won't ask you, the society. We will do what we want, and you must accept it without questioning.
Yeah, that's...
Am I correct? Is totally my logic correct?
No, it's totally correct. What I said with COVID, it was like a campaign to get vaccinated. I didn't do, but okay. A lot of people did, and I have own examples. My mother, she died. I would not say it's from the COVID vaccines, but I think it was because she developed a heart disease after the second...
6 times risk of heart disease after the
she developed, she was older, okay, but still she developed this and she died within two months or something after the second booster. So my father also was vaccinated with Moderna, I think. No, not Moderna, the other one, AstraZeneca. He got thrombosis in his leg. So straight away, 1 month afterwards. So then I thought something is not very good here.
The risk of thrombosis increased 249%.
Yeah, he got it.
2.5.
Yeah. He's still alive now, but my mother died when I was here in Russia already. But okay, it's unfortunate. But this is all examples I have seen myself. It's my own family, I heard from other people, I heard from young people, and they will not give any excuse. I know that. And when we start writing about it or saying something about it, we were put somehow, in the corner from, they are, conspiracy thinkers, they are crazy types. And, you're not a real journalist because you are writing about this. And this is not, really true. And then later on, I wrote an article about Ursula von der Leyen because the Pfizer gate, she had money, she was bribed, let's say it, put it this way, from Pfizer. And it's all, they will never acknowledge that there was a danger in these vaccinations because it was not properly investigated. It was only 6 months. It was actually, it was not good. It was only 6 months and then they gave it to the people. I mean, it was like an experiment. And this is what happened. And I think we later heard a little bit that it was like that, but they will never say, okay, sorry, we were wrong, it's maybe not good research. We did not good research and people died, but they will not. And they will not do it what you said. They will not do it about Russia, Ukraine. They will not do it about the Middle East. And so, because if they don't do it with their own people, how are they going to do it with other people like Russia, Ukraine, and so on? They keep on. It's what I call them. I call them like a sect, a religious sect. They believe in this and they don't look left, they don't look right. All people who are saying, maybe we can discuss. No, you are wrong, we are right. And this is how they behave. And this is very bad. And this is totalitarianism, actually, what they do. It's their business, their sect, and nobody has to interfere because we think it's right and you should,
In Russia, social networks, we call it democratic democracy.
Yeah.
Point number 1.
Yeah.
I'm correct all the time.
Yeah.
Point number 2. If I'm wrong, look to the point number 1.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like that, You cannot speak to these people. I was in politics for a while. I was in the Socialist Party. And I came from Syria back and I told them, no, this is going on, that's going on. But not only that, also in the country, in the Netherlands, where things were going on. And then one day I had to come to who was head of this party. Yeah, but you cannot say this, and this. This is our policy, and that's it. I said, well, there's no, possibility to have a little bit of criticism to investigate this or this. No, this is the policy. This is what we agreed upon, and that's it. Yeah. Or you go out. That's it.
And from the philosophic point of view, how do you think, what was the moment in the history of the European Union which gave an impulse to situation you have today?
I think it was a nice documentary I saw. It started with the Greek period with the euro, when the euro, Greek was totally bankrupt at that time. And then there were the Dutch and the Germans, always them, sorry. I'm Dutch, but, and they went to Greece to discuss to save the country, they say. You're getting loans and so on. And one Greek minister was fighting with the Dutch, Jeroen van Dijsselbloem. This is all crazy stuff. Merkel was there. And from that point in time, and I think that was, it started already a little bit after the euro came, so 2001. And then it started to deteriorate and got worse and worse because we could not vote for anything. Do we want the euro? Well, we cannot say yes or no because there's no referenda, nothing. And this kept on going and got the war on terror and all these things. And then, I think 2010, 12, then it became very bad. I think that's from that point in time. Yeah, it was deteriorating quickly. And now we see the result. It's even worse than one could imagine. You cannot vote for them. This is the whole thing. We cannot say, okay, we can vote for somehow a bloc, but not a real person or a party. You cannot vote. So, I mean, that's not democracy. Democracy is the will of the people, and we cannot do it. So, yeah, it's bad.
Is it the end of democracy, or there is any way?
I think there was never real democracy, but okay, because, in Holland we have the elites, the king and the queen, and, but okay, that's a different story. But but this is really, people now see, well, this is really nothing, we cannot do anything. When Brussels say we need to have this cup left or right, then we have to do it. I mean, Brussels decides and the countries are not sovereign anymore. So Brussels decide that the Netherlands has to pay out their farmers, it should be done. And if the Dutch government says, no, but we have a problem with these people, you should do it. So this is how it works.
And by the way, it's interesting question about the future of the European Union. What do people think about the future of European Union? Does it have any chance, or it's absolutely normal situation and there is no problem?
Make Europe great again.
Yeah.
Your favorite question about mega.
Mega, yeah, this is what I'm going to ask you, but you already did it. Thank you. So, is there a chance for mega, for European Union, or it's some sort of utopia?
I think for the normal, the civilians of the European Union, yes, they want that. I think they want to dismantle the European Union to an extent that there is a union, but it should only be for trade, cultural things, and everybody keeps his own language, his sovereignty. That would be that was the intention of the European Union. So, but now it's like a block. It's totalitarianism. But maybe yes, I think there is. Yeah. And I also always call it, maybe we need a European spring, like Arab Spring. We need European spring. They had in 1848, I think, or something. There was big revolutions in Europe that time. I think we need it back. They need to change. They really need to change. The elite should go. They should have a whole new system, I think, in the countries, because this is not working. We have to form coalitions and always the same people come back in the same places and nothing will change. So this is like the sectors. They sit there, the elites, and we need European spring. This real, not new start, but different. We need to do things different. Yeah, to enlighten again the Renaissance.
What, Sonia, I was thinking and also discussing with some my friends the following issue. The capitalism, the ideology, is based on the competition. Mm-hmm. You can develop only if you compete with somebody. And it brings impulse for you to do your work better, to earn money better, to invent something, etc. Same with the political system. If you have no freedom of choice, of course you can choose, but if we, as you said, all the parties, they are more or less the same. They are, let's say, system parties that belong to the paradigm of the current system. So it means that basically you change among the same system. It won't affect really the situation. So it will be more or less as it was. So it means that the European countries, where capitalism was developed originally as a concept, must return to their roots, to start everything from the beginning, to start a fair competition of political ideologies in economy. If there is a, let's say, single market, if the Brussels decide there is no competition, the economy, local economies, they're declining. Because situation with Greece you just mentioned. I remember the story. I was working in the foreign ministry in the European Cooperation Department at those times, and we remember how it was. The new leader of Greece at this time, Tsipras. He visited Moscow and he was claiming that Brussels insisted and forced Greece to cut all the olive trees, to cut all the wineries, etc., to kill agriculture. Basically, the key sector of economy of Greece historically. Of course, they paid some refund back once off. And this is it. Now, done. Why they did it? Because there should be no competition. If everyone would produce a lot of vegetables, a lot of meat, I don't know, fruits, there will be too much of them. The prices will drop. No profit,
it's like the milk production.
Etc. So we need to cut agriculture in Europe, let's say half, destroy it completely. Okay, now it will be Greece. Number one, who will suffer these experiments with agriculture. And then we will bring prices to a desirable level, which can allow us to earn profit. And this is it. And of course, we don't care about the Greek people, about their historical activities and type of living. So, I mean, what I'm saying, even the European idea, of European unity idea that exists currently, it goes strongly against the regional intentions, how the Europe was developing, and even trying to build a joint European family. It goes against the regional roots. Return to the roots.
Yeah,
and
they
everything
should.
will be fine.
Yeah, like the Netherlands were good in trading always. Germany is good industrial things, they have the car industry, of course. And well, the South is good in olive oil or something like that. And this should be their business, and they should compete with other countries. And this is what it should be. It's what I said, the European Union should not interfere. Maybe you can have a union for trading or language, cultural things. And that's okay. That's nice, because we are all different countries, but not interfere with the economy in the countries. And this is what they do. And this is how it started to get wrong. And we can see the result now. And now I think they have something. Yeah, I think they are going back somehow, a assortment of communism, what they want in Europe. Because like the green agenda, like they have this great research thing that you cannot own, you own nothing, but you be happy. Like something, it's not real communism, but something, similar, we can say, that it's all together, but actually they are not together. So it's like a weird system they are creating. But it's actually comes down to that the elites have the money and the people are...
It's neither capitalism nor the communism. It's some sort of Frankenstein, a mix
something,
of...
a mix from everything. It's some weird ideology. And this is what they want to push on the people. And I heard that a lot of Dutch people are escaping. They really speak in this podcast about escaping the Netherlands, and they telling how to avoid this and how to avoid that, and we should do this. And some go to Spain, some go to South Africa, some go to, a lot of richer people go to Dubai. So they're all going. And this is very bad, because when all these people go, who is going to finance, the country? It's a disaster. The same with Germany.
What do you think? Who can take the lead in the United Europe today? Right now, for example, French President Emmanuel Macron seems to be one of the top of contenders for leadership. But is he truly capable of that? At the same time, Eurosceptics are gaining ground. For example, in Germany, the Alternative for Germany, AfD, party recently took second place in the parliamentary elections. What do you think about all of this?
Well, I think the intentions of AfD, and we have like in the Netherlands, PVV, it's a Party for Freedom. The intentions were good, despite that it's a Zionist, what we have in the Netherlands. Okay, it's a different story, but the intentions were good, that they promised the people, once we are in power, we will, go out of the Euro Exit. We will, the Netherlands is for the Netherlands again, Germany for Germans. But in reality, we can see the example of the Netherlands, it didn't work out, because there was a coup d'etat from Mark Rutte, from NATO, so he has no power, this party, even though they were the largest party in the countries with the former election. We see the coup actually on AfD going on. So what I say is these parties have good intentions, and I think they should rule the country, but because actually they won. But they will not now. So we need revolution. It sounds maybe funny or maybe radical. I'm not a radical usually, but we can see we're struggling. These countries are struggling so long already, and it's getting worse and worse. And how more the people, the elites see that, the people are not satisfied. They get more radicalized themselves. So we get a very terrible situation. So I think really the people... But I know, it's what I always say, I'm Dutch, but the Dutch are very lazy in this because they're used to wealth, they're used to good life, and now still people say, oh, okay, the government say it's okay, and they watch this, stupid news, which is propaganda, and they say, oh, okay, the government knows, and it's okay. But I think the people should, the few who are woke up, they are gone, like me or others. But we need, there's a need for a change, because otherwise I can see a very dark period for Europe, and not only the Netherlands or Germany, but also France and Belgium. And, we have another problem with all the asylum seekers there, and it's a very disastrous situation. And maybe that's why the elite thinks we need war, because they cannot manage all the problems they have. It's terrible, really. It's sad.
Historically, if you do not want to, if you don't know what to do, arrange a war.
The war, yeah, and that's what they are doing. trying to do. Thank God they didn't do yet, but they are trying to say that. Because they have to get the people all in a war modus, like they did maybe before the First World War. They thought, oh, good, we have a war, great. And it's a crazy idea, because war is never good. It's only when it's necessary, it needs to be done. But this is how they try to affect the people. And some of them go along, but yeah, I think Germany is more awake, especially in the eastern part of Germany.
Yeah,
former
GDR.
GDR. That's people are more awake because they know how they were sold out in 98. So 89. Sorry. Yeah.
They still remember. I mean, and they know what's that there is they know that there is an alternative.
Yeah.
Not alternative for Germany, but that there is a other way
of life. Yeah. They experienced it, the elderly, and and because I remember they say their work was in the factory, but it was like social, and it's so they know, and they know they were sold out in 89. The factories closed, people didn't get any jobs anymore, and there's still a difference between East and West Germany. You can still see that. I lived for a while in Germany. If you go to the East, people are completely different than the West, and the West feel superior to the East Germans. Still like that after so many years.
Sonia, I suggest to shift our discussion to non-positive news, but you're an expert of the Middle East. You worked a lot and lived in Syria, and we've seen that in the past months there were a lot of changes, unfortunately not that positive as many wanted to present, especially in the West and the Western media. Last time when we spoke here in the studio, you told us that Bashar Assad, with the support of Russia and with support of Iran, managed to stabilize the situation, and he actually was a quite normal leader, of course, with own pluses and minuses, but still. He brought peace, he brought stability to the country, despite all these circumstances in the past, beside the external pressure, etc., etc. But a few months ago, suddenly everything has changed. He had to flee the country, and now we see that the minorities of Syria, such as Christians and Alawites, the former Phoenicians, those who belonged not to Arabic population, they are suffering. They are under high pressure, and the recent news we got just now from the media that internet was shut down in Syria because previous weeks showed that there are a lot of murders of civilians, of Christians, and not necessary to broadcast it live. In terms of point of view, of the current authorities, because it's bad for the reputation. We see that there were no excuses. It means that the internet shutdown means that they will continue what they do, but without external pressure and without evidences. Please, could you assist us in in explaining all this, very difficult situation that was in Syria, and now how we must understand what's going on there?
Well, what's going on is actually the terrorists are in power. The terrorists who were fought by the former Syrian government. This is what happened. And like me, also I was surprised that it happened quickly, that the terrorists took over. But afterwards, when I heard all the stories and I know how it went, they were all resembled in Idlib. And Idlib is actually an enclave of Turkey already. And for years already, Turkey is sponsoring certain groups of terrorists in Syria. And it was a coordination together with Israel that Turkey went from the north, Israel from the south. So it was like a blitzkrieg from the Germans. They did in Second World War. The Israelis bombed the whole army, equipment, everything in a few hours. And the Turkeys supported the terrorists who went into Syria to go. Erdogan said, please go, you go to Damascus, go to Aleppo. Well, this is what they did. And the Russians tried to help in the beginning. They did some air raids and so on. But it was like a surprise. And also, I remember after that I heard, and I had an interview with here a media, not here, another media, and it was known then that the terrorists were around the Russian base, and also UK, and that time the Biden regime, we can say, was threatening the Russians that they would attack the Russian base inside Syria. So all these things together is that the whole country actually collapsed. Yeah, the government of Assad collapsed, and the terrorists took over. And of course, we know the story that they say, oh, it's a good government now, and he's changed. He's now a political leader, and he changed, so he is now a good president. We try to cooperate with him, but actually he's a terrorist. He had a $10 million bounty on his head. So I mean, this says it all. I mean, okay, people can change, but then now we face the harsh reality that they are having pogroms, we can call it, in especially the coastal area, but also Homs, Hama countryside. They kill all the Alawites, if not all, but when they try to kill a lot of Alawites, Christians, also Armenians, Ismailis, Shia. So all the minorities are part of the killing spree. The Kurds and the Druze as well, but the Kurds are stronger. They can defend themselves still. And the Druze are like in Al-Swaida. They have protection from Israel for the moment. So it's a total mess. It's a total chaos, and it is a grim situation for the minorities. We can speak mass murder, but we can speak from a genocide from the Alawites. What I heard, it's around 20,000 now are killed.
20,000.
20,000, and maybe more, because we don't know the exact numbers. I have contacts inside Syria, so I can, communicate with these people from the Christians, from the Alawites. And although they try to escape, a lot of them are stuck between the border between Lebanon and Syria. There's like a piece of land, and there are, I think, tens of thousands of people waiting to get into Lebanon. But okay, this is a disaster as well. How can they come all to Lebanon? But they are waiting, and the border towns, I heard, it's all occupied now with the minorities who were able to escape. And well, of course, Europe is facing another, maybe refugee crisis, I don't know, from the minorities, because, they always support the wrong groups. We know that from 2011 already. So, but it's horrible what is going on. It's real terrorists. It's the Uyghurs. It's like the Chinese Uyghurs. They are very horrific. It's, HTS, but they are composed of all foreign terrorists. We can say 80% of these people are foreigners, like from what I said, Chinese Uyghurs. They come from Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Egypt, everywhere. Also Europe, Moroccans from Europe. It's a disaster.
In Central Asia as well, we've seen a lot of videos when these people communicate among themselves using Russian language, because originally these people, they belong to different nations, and they do not understand each other because of differences of language. But if they know Russian, they can speak.
Yeah, I know that.
So it means that, you rightly mentioned, a lot of them indeed came from other countries.
Yeah, and as you said, the Caucasus, Chechnya, Tajikistan, and so on. And of course, we had also in Ukraine, in the Donbass, there was this whole legion of Chechen, Omar al-Sistani. It's from the first Chechen, the second Chechen war. They were there. They had these groups fighting the Russians because they hate Russia, because, the wars. So this is all complicated terrorism, we can say. And I think this terrorism, now we can see Syria, and I'm afraid that it will spill over to, Lebanon. We can see already fighting there. The Hayat Tahrir al-Sham already went into Lebanon a few days ago. So they were defeated for now, but they killed a lot of people already in the villages. Maybe it will spill over to Jordan or to Iraq again, because, Iraq is also a mess since 2003. So it's a very dangerous situation. I mean, I think if countries do not understand what is terrorism, and I think Russia does because of the problems of the Chechen wars, and also what we had, Crocus, is also terrorists. So I think when people or other countries don't do anything, it will be very dangerous situation. And the EU is giving 5.8 billion euros to terrorist governments. And the ministers come there and think, hello, to all the minorities, we are inclusive now.
You see, European Union sometimes, like in a cartoon, it likes to step another step on the same wreck, all the time. We remember that European Union is supported a military campaign against Libya.
Yeah, I know.
Prosperous country, very stable.
Yeah.
It was not aggressive. It was not a threat to European Union.
No.
Now they face a lot of problems because of the refugees, jihadists, terrorism incoming from Libya. Same with Iraq, as you mentioned. It was also a stable country. Maybe not that peaceful as Libya, but still without any intention to, harm Europe or the West, etc. Now Syria, we see that there is a huge belt of instability is forming around Russia and Europe. Yeah. And what European Union does, it supports these new authorities.
Yeah, which are actually terrorists. So it's one part, it's ignorant they are because they don't know much about the Middle East, I would say. The same was for the US. They only interested in oil there. I mean, let's face the truth, they wanted oil. Of course, they want the power there because they want to dominate. They used proxies. And I think that's a huge task for this new government. And I hope they will do it in the US, that they finally stop all this bloodshed in, the Middle East and not supporting only Israel, but seeing that, what is going on, because the whole area is going to, I think for many, many years will be very dark periods. And what you said, it will be spilling over to Europe. It's already there. Every week there's an attack, maybe every day now in Germany, by these jihadists. These jihadists came after the fall of Aleppo 2016. They came to Europe, and part of them went to Idlib. I think what I always say, I'm not a radical myself, but all these radicals went to Idlib. I think they had to, do something about Idlib, at least exterminate them or something. I mean, it sounds really awful. But these people, these terrorists, I saw them in 2015. They are not, you cannot reason with them. You cannot speak with them. They are totally brainwashed. They only see killing and, it's hard to imagine for us people, normal people who are not radicalized or don't have this ideology. And this is, they should be stopped because they, but what Europe and the US did, they supported them. So the normal people there, they are suffering a lot, and this is really horrible. And this should be stopped. And Europe should wake up and say, okay, we have gone too far, and the US should also do something. I know Trump administration, it's not their fault now, but at least they should try to correct the mistakes, what was done all these years. It cannot be done maybe in 1 month or 2 months, but they should correct the mistakes and say, okay, now they say, let them, we cannot do anything. It's not our business. Yes, it is. They should correct the mistakes from past administrations. That's what I think they should do.
But it's difficult to say that it's not business of Trump administration. Why?
Yeah.
Because we had and is having Gaza now, genocide in Gaza at first. Now we have genocide in Syria. Yeah. So genocide is becoming something ordinary for the Middle East. Yeah. And it seems that there is no any solution.
No, I think the solution is to... it's gone far, but actually all these terrorists are supported by the US and Europe. I mean, Al-Qaeda, it's known, they were formed by the US with the former administration. So, like John McCain, he was like, always call him the godfather. It's known in Syria and Iraq and Lebanon, he was the godfather from Al-Qaeda. So it was so-called the Free Syrian Army, but actually then we had Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, and this is how it went. And they got money. And I remember in 2021, when these terrorists were in Idlib, there was an interview with American states media, PBS. And they were like already preparing al-Jilani to become president, because this whole interview was based on that he now was a political leader and he was not a terrorist anymore. So this is what the US and Europe should stop. They should stop supporting terrorism. No more money, no more weapons, fight against them, or, support other people, the real people there to stop this terrorism, then I think you will find that when they are eradicated, then it will be okay. But when they start sponsoring terrorism, and this is, they always say it's Islam. It's not Islam. Islam is actually a peaceful religion, like Jewish or Christian. They are peaceful religions, but they use religion to make war, to fight, and this is terrible. And this
Islamic radicalism.
Yeah, they use religion, like settlers in Israel. They use also the Torah to eradicate the Palestinians. So, and we had this in the Middle Ages in Europe, the Christians, the Catholics, the Protestants. This should stop. And I think best way is to have a secular government, but okay, it's not done in the Middle East. They're not that far yet, but they should stop supporting terrorism and support these groups, This is how it all started, actually, all these terrible things.
Yes, and I should also remind that idea is you can control these people is a wrong idea. Because, for example, let's remember Taliban. It was also formed when the Soviet authorities were in Afghanistan, and Soviet bases were there to fight our army and to fight our allies. What has happened? The Taliban, after took the power with the collapse of Soviet Union, after taking power in Afghanistan in 90s, what it did? It started to fight with Americans, and now it ended that Americans run away from Afghanistan. You cannot control these people. It's like a gin. If you open the bottle, a Pandora box, so it becomes a hostile power towards everyone. So it means that if you play games with the fire, be careful, you will burn yourself.
Yeah. So that's why Trump should stick with Make America Great Again and stop, interfering in all these countries, also in Israel. They should stop, crazy idea to make Gaza a resort. How can you do that? I mean, many people are killed there, children, I don't know, everybody. So, I mean, this should stop. They should, maybe help the countries, build economically to make it a bit better again. I always say, when people have the economy good and people live good, you won't find many people radicalized. This is the whole problem. People live in poor situations, so you get radicalized. You say, okay, look, they have this, and one uses religion, the other one uses I don't know what, but this is bad, The people should have a good standard of life, and this is of course not done, and this is, we see all the problem. But these terrorists should be stopped somehow, because what you said, it's a threat for Russia as well, because they're from the Caucasus, they're from Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and nobody knows. I mean, they were going to open, this was also a very strange idea for me. They opened the airport in Damascus. It was speaking about it in December or January to go. They want to have flights to Russia. And I thought by myself, oh, come on. What are these terrorists going to do on holiday in Russia, I mean, and you will find, of course, a lot of refugees coming then. But this is a crazy idea, in my opinion. But
you know what? I'm not saying that, let's say, Soviet time was the best time in the world, but I know it personally on the history of my family that when Russian Soviet bases were in Afghanistan, in the second half of the 20th century, it was a quite peaceful and stable country, because the authorities were focused on investing in the people's capital. So there were schools and universities, both for boys and girls. Yeah. There was a production, factories building. There was some cultural life. Yeah, and I have pictures in my photo albums of my family and a lot of chronicles that, people, they knew what they are building, They were focused on building something better. Yeah. What we see now in Afghanistan, the biggest slave markets, they are children markets. In Libya and Afghanistan, the two key countries providing slaves, especially young girls and young boys, of course. There are a lot of demand on young boys as well in these two countries. So it means that the problems are not with the people. No, the problem is like with the disease, like cancer cells. Yeah. If this destructive ideology, is seeded in a certain environment, so after it take over control of the whole society.
Yeah, and this is what's happening in the Middle East right now, and it's really sad. I mean, I hear. every day I have people, writing to me, or as long as they still have internet and to help me. Yeah, what can I do? I mean, I'm in Russia, so I can only give advice what to do, maybe, but that's it. But I mean, it's really sad. I mean, it's not only the poor, and now also rich people. The houses are confiscated, everything. So it's the cars. There's a city called Jablé that's not far from the Russian base. It's like empty because the Alawites and part of them Ismailites lived there. It's empty. I mean, this is what is going to happen. And they already say that these jihadists, they want to make it like Palestine, like Gaza. They want to put all the people, expel them, ethnical cleansing, and they will make it all with the jihadists. That's what they wanted in 2011. It's a caliphate. That is what they want.
So it's a flashback. It's another round
it's a flashback.
of the
Yeah, it's what they did partly in Iraq and Syria. But this is what they want. And they will not stop in Syria. They will expand, what I said, to Iraq, Lebanon, and that's what they will try.
So, dear friends, let's talk at the end of our conversation about something good and
positive. Yes.
Positive.
Something positive.
And I was thinking, what is good and positive? Yeah. Okay, for example, maybe these changes, we need these changes. And in these circumstances, which we just discussed. Because so without any changes, we can't go ahead now. What do you think about it, Sonia?
Yeah, maybe there's a saying that first it has to be bad before it becomes good, really bad. So maybe we are in this period that we think, oh my God, what's going on? The half of the world is in war and destruction. And maybe it's painful, the end of the painful things that we maybe come to a new kind of world or society, and let's hope that. I mean, the good idea was BRICS already. Yeah? Maybe it can be done. Maybe colonialism in Africa will be now diminished, so people can live a good life. So let's hope. Yes, I hope. Maybe it's true. Yeah, maybe we see a few more years of
Difficult times create strong people, and strong people create good times.
Yes. Maybe we should work on that. Yes.
Let's agree on that.
Yes.
Let's be positive. That maybe after a while, then all these terrible times are behind us, and we can build better places, countries.
Yes, and difficult time made good people, unite. All over the world.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Yes.
We're
trying to unite.
That's very good.
People.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonia, very much for this interesting conversation, and we'll definitely continue.
Okay, thank you so much.
We have a lot of topics to discuss in nearby future.
Okay,
thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Zvezda Holding presents Dynamic Spectrum Talks now.